Today in the salon, we have Laura Ranzato from Clean Creatives, and I think that you are going to find that she is going to give you so much hope and joy in the conversation that I have with her, and hopefully you enjoy it just as much as I did. I met her last year, actually, at a Clean Creatives event, and that's where she is now, working on getting creatives to sign a pledge to not work with oil and gas industries.
Telling the story, you're trying to sell one more barrel of oil or helping to get the reputation of these companies to have you think that they're doing the right thing when we know that they're not investing in this transition. We know that they aren't aiming to cut production or move away from fossil fuels.
You know, whether you are just working on internal issues at your office, let her be an example of how to keep your head above the waves.
We also know that creatives don't want to be doing this. Do they have the voice? Do they get to say no? And more powerfully, could we just have it where these agencies decline these types of contracts?
Hello, everyone. It's another episode of The Salon where I introduce you to the really cool people that I get to meet on a regular basis. Sometimes the thing that's the most interesting about them is their job, but more often than not, it's the things that they're doing outside of their 9 to 5. On today's episode is Laura Ranzato. She works with Clean Creatives. They just recently launched a really clever campaign called the Oil Bucket Challenge. I'm going to let her share a little bit more about that. But before we dive in, Laura, can you just give us a little bit of a brief background on your journey? How did you get to Clean Creatives? Your story to me is so interesting, starting, doing the work that you were doing in Alaska. So just give us a little overview of how you got to where you are today.
Oh my gosh. Well, first of all, thanks so much for inviting me on this. I love the question of kind of that, the outside of the 9 to 5. I was like, do I get to chat about my tap classes?
You do. I want to talk about your tap
Amazing.
classes.
Yeah, my journey. Okay. I think I was just in a kid who grew up in Ohio and knew they wanted to leave. It's funny that I work on oil and gas and fossil fuels now because that connection to tobacco, because my first involvement with organizing and student activism was actually on tobacco. As a high schooler, I got pulled into this, working to get young people, we had the opportunity to go lobby at our state capitol, and got enough petitions signed. You got to get this invite to go lobby your representative. So I don't know if it was so much the gamification or kind of this realization that we all have access to these decision makers. So I went to school for political science, got really involved in climate youth organizing, kind of this long about journey, and then organizing back on campus afterwards took me to then teach. I was a sixth grade teacher for a number of years. And I thought that was kind of taking a break from activism. But from my classroom, I could see 2 coal plants and a coal mine, from the windows of my sixth grade class.
It was right there. And this was in
Right
Alaska,
there.
right?
No, this is in New Mexico on the Navajo Nation.
New Mexico. Oh, okay.
Mhm. On average, a third of my students would be absent any given day. Whether it's for their own illnesses or one of their parents or caretakers getting work that day, them needing to stay behind to take care of a younger sibling.
Right.
So my kids' education was in a lot of ways this kind of transactional, we'll, kind of tap it when we could, hopefully get them into the classroom. And all of this is directly related to those coal projects. What has decimated this economy? What's causing these illnesses? What's making life here so hard is these coal projects. And there were local efforts led by, community members to shut down some of those coal plants, close up the coal mine, not expand it. But that felt so hard as what's my role in this? I'm a white teacher in this classroom, telling these kids, these families what should or shouldn't happen, or this thing outside that was put onto you in a lot of ways, that we should get rid of. What's the plan? What do we replace this with?
Yeah.
I should just focus on being a teacher. but it never felt like I could, like, do enough. A lot of things happened, but ultimately, this job opened up to stop a wave of proposed coal mines, all also on or next to native lands in Alaska, and I was like, "Oh, actually, like, stop, working with the community to protect what they love and protect their way of life and stop it before it happened." That feels like a much clearer way for me to be involved and, like, use my voice and my skills and, like, bring organizational help to some of these fights. So, yeah, the shift took me up there, and then a shift to clean energy. It's a whole range of things, but just yeah, meeting a lot of incredible people, all wanting to see a better, safer, healthier future is, I think, the connective tissue. And that's brought me to now I live in Brooklyn, New York. I work for Clean Creatives. It's been about 4 years. Yeah. And I
Yeah.
take tap dance lessons with my husband on Monday
Yeah.
nights, so
Okay. We're definitely gonna circle back to that because, like, I think we need to talk about that because I definitely need to hear more about your tap lessons on Monday nights. Really quickly, though, so you were in New Mexico, and then did you just sort of stay plugged into community organizing? How did you go from New Mexico to Alaska? I mean,
Mm.
you went across Canada, across the entire,
Oh,
like,
yeah, it's a long drive, yeah. If you need some, like, good camping spots
did you
on a
drive
route,
there?
absolutely.
You drove from New Okay.
I had a
Yeah,
dog and 2 cats, what are you gonna do?
yeah,
Um, yeah, so, I mean, the youth climate movement, I think I, like, was able to come into it at, like, a really critical time. It's, like, kind of the precursor to what the Sunrise Movement is today. It was this organization, called Energy Action Coalition. It's now shifted into Power Shift Network, but we're, like, kind of some of the first generations of, like, wow, young people voting can make, like, a huge shift on outcomes.
yeah.
I was really fortunate to have, like, Obama's first campaign, like,
Oh, yeah.
one of the Obama debates happened at my college campus. And so we had just, like, a lot of attention, I think, placed on young people and on climate and, like, what our top issues were at a time that, because of where I happened to be going to school, was able to get really plugged into different national organizing efforts. So I was able to, like, be supported by the Sierra Student Coalition. I had a mentor through the Greenpeace Student Network. I got involved with 350.org early on. So when I was a teacher for a number of years, 350 was supporting some of the local efforts led by Danae Care, yeah, so, like, just even just, like, just local parents that were like, "We don't like these projects happening. How do we get involved?" And so I would just kinda show up in whatever capacity I was invited in, to help in, around Shiprock where I was a teacher. And then 350 was also leading some statewide work happening in New Mexico. So when I left Shiprock, lived in Albuquerque, and taught for another year, I got involved more with 350 on a statewide level. So then I was just kind of like tracking what was happening nationally, and a job opening opened up with Sierra Club in New Mexico, and I was like, I have some experience here of, like, seeing the impacts. I can speak a little bit from experience of, like, knowing, at least as a teacher, what the impacts can be on young people. Certainly don't have a lived experience as, like, a Native person who's, like, dealt with this generationally and the harm and the racism and colonialism and all of the things packed into that, but I don't want these projects to happen, and I would love
Right, yeah.
to, yeah, use what I
You're like
know and lend
yeah,
some support here. So I applied for that job and was like, yeah, I'm happy to drive up and move from New Mexico to Alaska and, experience wilderness in a whole different way.
yeah.
So I lived in Anchorage for about 4 years.
You lived in Anchorage. Okay, so tell me about when you were in Alaska. So I went up there when I was oh gosh, like right after college, went up to Denali, did some
Incredible.
backpacking there. And I think for me, like what struck me the most is just how beautiful it still is. And I
Mhm.
can't imagine going in with the mindset of like you're stopping coal. Like, how do you go to a place like that and you're like, someone wants to tear this apart?
I think in, like, places that are so vast and beautiful like that, it's also easy to get lost in the grandeur where you're like, oh, there's so many trees. Like, what would it matter if we chop some down? Or like, oh, there's so much space. Like, really, how much impact can a whole coal mine have? Um, but like this still gets really personal for folks, right? Like one of the coal projects that we were like, putting most of our effort on was this project called the Chewitna Coal Project. Um, and by all accounts, like pretty rural. Like this wasn't, in a population center. It was, you had to actually like fly in on like a rural bush plane to get there. It's kind of outside of this town called Beluga. In and around the lands of the Tyonek Native people. This was both like a mix of this is an area that I can see from Anchorage. There is a Native tribal community there. There's also a group of mostly white retired folks that like bought land in this area as I want to get away from it all. I want to like be able to like fish every day and like have chickens and like, kind of be able to do what I want, right? That like very libertarian kind of view and aspect to it all. Um, so this, for them, it was this matter of like, wait, I'm sorry, I'm not anti-coal, but I'm anti this coal mine and anti this project was going to be the first of its kind where it was actually going to like mine through salmon streams.
Oh,
So
wow. Okay.
like wild.
Why?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And this salmon
So it was
stream
personal. It became personal.
very personal, where it's like, wait, I moved here so I could like get away from this like development. I got out here so I could enjoy nature. And like now this is knocking on my door. And for a lot of these folks, they're like, I'm Republican. I love coal. And like, but I don't like this coal mine or like this is coming up against me. So, um, yeah, a real shift in ways of thinking and talking about it. There's also so much to the history and the politics of Alaska that makes this all really different too. Um, the Alaska Constitution, NILCA, how they treat lands. Like, we're not going to get into the whole like policy and like legal history to it all, but like who has a voice in these projects is really different, and the ways to affecting change looks specifically unique in Alaska. Um, in ways that it doesn't look in the rest of the country.
Thank you again for tuning into these podcasts, these stories. And one of the reasons why I get to tell these stories is because of my own career, which is with Shimmick. We match really great companies to really great agencies. And over the last 14 years, we have come across some really incredible people doing really cool things. But mostly, we get to help everyday people too that are just looking for the right PR firm, right marketing agency, right advertising agency. And we're here to help. We want to make your agency search so much easier because we've already done the search for you. We have over 350 agency partners, and they're all talented, and most importantly to me, they're all ethical. And also, we're free to you, the company. Our agencies are the ones that pay us, so it doesn't cost you anything to give us a phone call. You don't need to get your CFO involved. You don't need to get finance involved or whoever is doing that for your company. You can pick up the phone or send us an email, and we can give you kind of the state of the industry, what's trending, and go over some ideas for who might be a good fit. Now that I've shared that with you, let's get back to the conversation. So when you were in Alaska, and I'm asking you these questions because I know how you got into Clean Creatives, and I just really love your whole story. And because I feel it, like the idea that, you're looking around and you can see these things that shouldn't be happening. But then you actually went out and you have sort of dedicated your life to it in some ways. But when you were in Alaska, you came up against these coal projects. And I remember you saying in one of your talks, like, the PR is what you started to encounter head on.
Yeah.
And of course, like, I've been in marketing and PR. I know, and I mean, like, we're seeing it right now with this
Yes.
American Eagle campaign. Oh my God. Thankfully, that's a huge misstep. But sometimes, like, they nail it. And I think 10, 15 years ago, it was a huge uphill battle against some of the propaganda. Like, what were you seeing?
I mean, we're seeing it. It's like you said, it's like everything we're used to seeing, right? Like every bad company has these handful of like those feel good projects that are meant to distract, have you think about them as like good local companies that like obviously care for their workers and the community. So like there's really just like one coal company in Alaska. That's actually not even the company that was touching most of these proposed projects. Most of the projects of like coal mining in Alaska is like meant for um, export. Like the coal you can mine in Alaska isn't not high quality. It's not things we would really use in the States. But there is one coal company in Alaska. It's called Usabelli. They fund everything. Like if you live in Fairbanks, like your kid cannot play a sport that like doesn't have Usabelli sponsoring it. They're like the playgrounds. Like you'll see the little plaques everywhere of this coal company sponsoring, helping to build the local playground, the schools. They like I hope that they don't do this anymore, but at the time they were like giving away um like ash, which is like very toxic, but
What?
to use as snow melt. Because
Okay.
it's black, so it reflects the sun. It offers like a grittiness. So you
So,
just
like,
put it on top of the
byproduct,
ice.
they're like, "Here's school."
Like I kid you not. Like an ash
Don't
is
you
just
have
like
a pile
it's
of
straight up.
coal
It's like
ash?
arsenic. It's like it's not good. Yeah, arsenic and
Yeah,
lead. Please take. You can just help us dispose of this. It's wild.
right into your
Um,
groundwater.
right into your groundwater. It's totally fine. It's local. So,
It's
like, you don't have to worry
organic.
about it. It's organic matter. It's from the ground. How bad can
Yeah,
it be?
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, honestly, I never thought I'd be working on a campaign, like, hand in hand with ad executives and, like, copywriters ever. But, like, the link to all of this is storytelling, right? Like, these coal companies do these projects to have people think really nice things about them, that their experience with them is like, "Oh, that company, oh, they, like, care about my kids. They sponsored the playground. They're great."
It's like public relations 101. And they
100%.
have the background, and y'all are just trying to make a
Oh my
difference.
gosh, I'm, like, talking to the woman who's, like, mad that the coal trucks drive in front of her house, and it's, like, too close to the road, and the trucks are really big, so it rattles her windows. I'm working with this woman whose, like, parents died of, like, really rare cancers, and, like, she's not a doctor, but she's like, "This doesn't run in the family," and, like, the only thing I can point to is the fact that there's a smokestack 100 yards down the street. But, like, what power do these folks have? When these coal companies have access to tons of money, can put lots into, kind of protecting themselves, getting a lot of people on their side. And then, like, this woman's like fighting for retribution or just even like be recognized that her family has undergone this like horrible experience and this trauma and her medical bills are not paid and like should be the responsibility of this coal company across the street. Um, it's like all this like battle of narrative, right? And like who has voice, who has power, who has access. Um, what I love about Clean Creatives and what I think is just so neat about it is like I didn't realize this in Alaska, where it was like, okay, the people telling these stories, I was just like, oh, they're the bad guys. But like chances are these coal companies, they're not coming up with these messages and these methodologies on their own. They're not coming like and it's not like the CEOs that's, like, actually benefiting the most from this are developing the communication strategy. They're hiring creatives to do this. And in all of my, years doing this work, like, young people, especially young creatives, like, know that climate change is happening, know the health impacts, and they don't want their skills and talent to be used this way. Um, so if we, like, just talk to them and tell them, like, "You don't have to do this work." Chances are they won't because they don't want to, and they don't wanna be, like, pigeonholed into, like, "Oh, I'm the creative that's good at oil and gas." That's not what you get into this industry wanting to do. It's like, it's not the projects that give you life, like, they want the good projects or with the, like, the beautiful charities and the NGOs, like, doing nice work. They want to be lifting up the stories that, like, cause positive change in the world. So rather, it's like if we can just, like, find those intersections and ways of talking with them, that's where we can really make a big shift here. It's like it's interesting. It's like it's all really the same, right? Like PR and grassroots campaign. It's like it's speaking different dialects of the same strategic language. They're both about shifting hearts and minds and behaviors like towards a goal. Just like what that goal is and how we talk about making that change. That's the shift. Yeah. I don't
Yeah,
even remember what your
no, I
question
love
was.
that,
I'm
and
just
so
like
that's
on a tangent.
no, but that was so beautiful, and I think that's why we love, working with Clean Creatives as well. It's because it's such a bigger story than just being anti anti-coal or anti-oil and gas. It's because it's not even just like a drain on natural resources. It's a drain on human people, like resources.
Yeah.
And exactly what you said. I mean, sometimes you take a job because you have to. But one of the
Mhm.
beautiful things about seeing these firms pop up and, big powerhouses now having to compete with maybe mid-sized firms for
Yeah.
good work is like, I think where the change is going to start happening. And it won't be necessarily a change in that they're going like the goal isn't to like directly stop mining, but the goal is to stop telling a rosy story.
Yes, yeah. Right, when we think about, like, every misleading story around climate change, it, like, all starts with a brief from a fossil fuel client. Full stop. Like, all the lies we're told are like, "Oh, global warming, like, looks like a snowstorm to me." Like, you can, like, picture
Yeah.
these, like,
Yeah.
old ads
Somebody
or,
sitting
like
around the table.
yes, yes, or, like, the concept of, like, your carbon footprint that was designed by Ogilvy for BP. Like, thank you so much for, like, having me think about, like, my own personal tiny impact rather than, like, what you're doing as a fossil fuel company. Um, yeah, it's wild. I mean, it's like these same forces influencing public opinion in Alaska around coal, these, like, PR firms, these ad campaigns, these, like, big, these narratives. This is also influencing it's the same forces that influence how the world understands climate, how the public thinks about their impact or way of affecting change around that is also the huge forces going into lobbying. Um, Edelman puts money into like the American Mining Association was like a huge client for years. Like that lobbying impacts like that's affecting the change. So it's yeah, I mean, I don't think we're like I'm not trying to get a bunch of creatives and copywriters like stand in front of the mining machine or like the tractors like that's
Yeah.
not what we're doing. It's really about taking away that power of amplification of voice and so that public opinion can like actually reflect what's real so that our government officials can respond to this as the public health emergency that it is just as we did with tobacco.
Yeah.
It's just like stop lying to us.
Yeah. Right. And if you can't get good talent, the lies are
Oh
thinner and
yeah.
thinner. And you're seeing that more with young people too, and so are we. Like,
Hmm.
so when you guys came up with this, when Clean Creatives came up with this idea for like the oil bucket challenge, that wasn't your idea, but that was the winning idea.
Yes,
So tell
yes.
me about that whole day. Like, how did that come to be?
It was so fun. We invited a bunch of I mean, mostly like young, early and mid-year creatives and professionals to like spend a Saturday with us. And we gave them this brief in advance. Some of the brilliant creatives, like volunteers on our team, Olivia, Michaela, can name so many names. We're just seeing these connections here around like really just the vibes are off for holdcos right now. Like mergers are happening, this rise of AI, kind of like this constant threat of losing your job, of layoffs, of consolidation, just like puts a lot of folks, especially early level careers, at on edge.
Yeah.
And like where we're seeing more of the award winning work is coming from these smaller indies. And the founders of these agencies, like they, had a vision of, like, the way they wanna do this work, the clients they wanna work with, like and that is so much more of an inspiring kind of journey and story and a type of company you wanna get behind. And most of these agencies don't work with fossil fuels, but not all of them have signed the pledge yet. So we put together this brief of, like, can we get a lot of, like, smart, creative minds on this and try and come up with like how can we get these like names of top 10 indie agencies to sign the pledge and what are some creative ways that we can approach that and do it. And we put people in teams. There were I think like 7 or 8 ideas pitched to our panel of judges. They were all excellent. Like, so many of these were like we were like, "Oh, your budget constriction? Like $1,000. Like, don't spend money over an NGM, don't spend money." What we can put money on, like, we could run some ads on LinkedIn, but, like, try and make this work without money. They're so creative, and I think just, like, having some time to, like, work shoulder to shoulder with other people with, like, a same value set, like, really unleashes a lot and, like, lets you start thinking before kinda, like, doing the checkout of, like, "Are
Yeah.
we like, can we work together? How is this?" But this award-winning idea was this oil bucket challenge. So kind of take on the resurgence and excitement around that ice bucket challenge. It was like, how can we do something that's like silly and funny and creative, allows, these indie agencies are all have founders, and these founders are like known, and that's like why they're able to be successful is like we know that they're the guy who won, the Gold Lion at Cannes. This is the small agency of the year. um, how can we kind of tap into that ego, them wanting to tell their stories, give them something fun and silly to do, and make it personal?
Yeah.
Everyone knows everyone. So,
Yes.
like, the ability
It's a
to, like,
small
just make
world.
that nomination of, like, "Oh, yeah, let me get my creative director, let me get my partner in this, let me get my former boss, let me nominate them," or, like,
That's what I love
has
seeing is, like, the people
yes.
who are nominating each other. I think everyone is like, "Oh, no." Like, "Who's
God
next?"
damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so fun, and, like, so people will do it for the opportunity to, like, name someone else, right?
Right, right.
Yeah, so that's been a blast, and we're seeing, I mean, like, people are doing this challenge that, like, never were nominated, they just, like, wanna do it.
They just wanna be in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but this team was so strategic because they were like, "Actually, like, we have baked in here kind of the seed network." Like, it's hard to start something viral, but we're like, "Hey, there's 8 incredible creative directors here that are all at indie agencies themselves. We're signing you up."
Perfect.
Like, if
Like,
each of you
no
do
choi you're
this.
doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
like, the launch was, like, built with plans, right? Where it's like, "Oh, Casey will start, Casey will tag Joe, Joe will do this because he was in the room with us," and, like,
Yeah.
so we, like, ensured that there would be, like, a bit of, like, a launch ramp for this to be successful before it, like, actually went natural, you know?
Well, that's super smart. And then what you
Yeah.
did is, like you said, then all of a sudden, well, no one everyone has FOMO. Like, are you even friends with someone if you're not nominated at this point? Like, do you have
I
or
wish.
are
I mean,
you
the
like,
fact
do
that
you
you
have
thought it
any
was
yeah.
oil, I'm like, now I have to fix everyone's minds of like, actually, it's
Yes.
molasses. Like, don't worry.
I know, so really quickly, okay, when I saw this, I was like, "Oh, no, like, is that gonna be bad for your skin? Is this actually oil? It looks so good." So how did
Great.
you replicate so
These
no
creatives,
birds were harmed in the creation of these videos?
0. Yeah, there's not like little, like EPA is not being called on us for like little oil spills all across New York. Don't worry. Yeah, it's molasses, or some people are using like Hershey's like chocolate syrup. Yeah,
It
we
still sounds
needed,
awful.
remember, budget. We had to keep this cheap.
I know, right? I was like, and then how do you even get that out of your hair? And, like, I love that Duncan did it, though. That's your boss instead of, like, making you do it. So,
I mean, I waited to be nominated, so I think I'm gonna do it. We have, a happy hour coming up in New York in a couple of weeks, and I think, like, doing it there, and then I can be
yeah.
like, "Well, we have all the supplies, like, do you wanna join me?" Like, hopefully, I can, like, in the moment, nominate some people and have them filmed.
And then they get to ride home on the subway covered in mole
Listen, I personally will cover your Uber ride home if
I
I'm
know,
unable to
right?
get
And,
you a
like,
shower in the moment.
the plastic sheeting to put down so the Uber driver doesn't hate you.
Yeah, yeah. We've been
Yeah.
doing, like, tarps and ponchos, and that's been, like, really helping the situation.
I did notice that. Although I do feel like it at least needs to, like, touch your skin and hair for it to
Yeah.
be, like, effective.
It's, like, shocking. You don't realize how cold it is in, like, the moment of yeah, until it, like, hits.
I remember the ice bucket challenge, and I don't know how coaches
Did
put
you
up with that.
participate?
I did it, yeah, it was terrible. It was terrible. I don't know if it was worth it. I'm not sure. But I do love every time so if you wanna see it, all you have to do is get on LinkedIn and go to the Clean Creatives page
Yes.
because and it pops up on my feed all the time. It makes me so happy to see who's getting drenched
Good,
in
good,
this
good.
nasty black substance, and it's such a good visual.
Mhm,
Like,
mhm.
such a good visual, and I feel like too, just to transition a little bit, because 'cause you're doing all of these cool creative things, and I just think about, like, you in your car driving I was joking when I said you drove to Alaska, but you actually did, and, like, you were a teacher, and all these moments, like, just taking a deep breath and looking back, you're one of those people where your job is your passion, and how do you know when it's the right move to pack up your car
Mm.
or to go like, how do you know like, Where does that come from? That instinct to
Mhm.
like trust your gut and to say, you know what, this looks crazy. I'm going to do it anyways.
Oh, boy. Yeah, I mean, I that question of, like, yeah, your, like, kinda central core values and, like, what your motivations and drivers are is, like I mean, it's part of organizing, is, like, what I need to, like, train volunteers of in their leadership development is, like, how they tell their story. Um, mine sounds so bad. I really like winning. I, like, have a a
I love it. You're like, I'm actually just competitive.
I'm really competitive, so I like working for campaigns that feel, like, really smart and strategic. I also get so mad about, like, injustices and fairness. For me, is like, when it comes to, like, the type of, like, work I'm doing and the campaigns I choose to work on is, like, does this get to a deep sense of unfairness? And is this campaign, is this work trying to, like, think to how can we tap into the skills, the power, the, like, unique contribution people can have to do the right thing and to, like, fix it and, like, right these wrongs. And, like, like, for Clean Creatives, what excites me so much about this is, like, this is really, of all things, like, a labor fight. It's like, if I work for a Havas, for an Edelman, for an agency that's taking
For an
on these fossil
Ogilvy,
fuel
for a
clients or an
Weber
Ogilvy, or, like,
Shenwick. Yeah.
we
Yeah.
can name all like,
We can
there's
sit
over
here. Yeah.
1,000
Let's go down the
contracts.
list.
I've got the F list. We're
We're
gonna just go
outing
on down.
you.
Um, like, if I work for these companies, like, if I'm the creative doing this work, coming up with this design, do I have a right to say no?
Right.
Or if there
Oh, for
is a
sure. Yeah.
policy,
Yeah.
like, is that policy equitable? Like, if I'm a young person in my career, let's say there even is a policy that I can say no to a project based on, like, my moral, religious, my ethical views. Can I really? Like, what does my boss think about this? What will this mean for my career prospects? Will I be invited to another project? Am I going to be put on the short list of, like, not a good team worker that might mean that I'm eliminated or, like, move towards layoffs faster than my peers? What about if I'm as a young person, as a woman? Like, what does this mean for my prospects? So these are all, like, this all falls along lines of power, which is all around, like, fairness, is around justice. Like, that's where this gets to me. And I think, like, we know that working for fossil fuel clients is inherently wrong. Giving voice, telling the story, trying to, like, if you're trying to sell one more barrel of oil or helping to get the reputation of these companies to have you think that they're doing the right thing when we know that they're not investing in this transition. We know that they aren't aiming to cut production or move away from fossil fuels. If I'm helping a Shell, a Chevron, a Saudi Aramco, like, stay open for 30 more seconds, I'm not doing the right thing. And I'm, like, harming communities. That's not where to be spending my time and my work. But we, like, also know that creatives don't want to be doing this. Do they have the voice? Do they get to say no? And more powerfully, like, could we just have it where these agencies decline these types of contracts? We know that they're willing to do it because, like, so many of them have clear lines drawn around tobacco. So many of them aren't working defense contractors, like,
Right.
when the war on Ukraine struck, we saw, like, McDonald's pull out of Russia. Like, if
Yeah.
these large multinational corporations can, like, in 30 minutes notice, make these levels of decisions and, like, change their marketing strategies, let alone their operations, we can see a shift happen here. And we're seeing it. So, like, yeah, I guess, yeah, long story short, I choose this work because for me it's an issue of fairness and I like winning. And so, like, working on campaigns where I'm like, this is strategic, I can help people do the right thing, and I can help them do it from the place that they already have power. Like, if you are working at an Edelman, how powerful are you? You
Oh,
are at a
right.
place that has these contracts that you could say no to. You can make it harder for them to do this work. Like, you can just put a little bit of sand in these cogs and, like, slow this up. Incredible. Stay right where you are. Let's find you friends. Let's get this conversation going. Let's slow this down. Like, that is power. I'm not asking people to, like, take time off, have a conversation over there, like, no, you are right where you need to be to have a huge impact. And like, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Like,
it is.
this is the kind of work we should be doing.
Yeah, no, I love that because I think right now too, and this is so pertinent just to everything. It's like, as you're saying before, we as human beings, like we are talent. We are the talent. And I know with the rise of AI, it's like, but that's just an automation system. Like at the end of the day, your creativity, your
Mhm.
brain, your drive, and your passion is what is valuable. And I think that as we go along, that's just going to increase in value. Especially, like, for people who are willing to kind of put their passion and their vocation together. So how do you okay, like, because 'cause I'm kind of the same way, I just feel like that's probably one of the reasons why we get along. Not to the extent that you are doing the amazing work that you're doing, but I feel like you see something wrong and you're like, "Oh, I can do something about that or I can get involved." But what does that look like in your day-to-day life? Like you moved from New Mexico to Alaska, like very outdoorsy areas to like the wild like New York City. I don't like what do you do with that? There are no bears. There's
Oh my gosh, thank
like
goodness.
instead you have bikes and or you do have trees. We have bikes, you have cars, you have taxis, you have
Yeah,
Ubers.
yeah.
Like how do you stay true to yourself? I mean, like, do you like it? Like, do you miss sometimes just seeing an open mountain range?
Um, yes, and I think, like, something I love about New York is, like, you can take a train and get
Yeah,
to
you
outside so
can.
quick and so easy and cheap. It's like also lived in the Bay Area for a number of years. I think the Bay Area is a scam. I'm like, they tease you with, like, there being wineries nearby, there being, like, good
They're
hiking trails, but, like, you
yeah,
have to drive to get there. You have to own a car in this, like, very expensive area. Like, I don't have to own a car. I can take a train. I can, like I have a reservoir I can walk to. I love the accessibility and the, like, diversity and the ways that different people and communities use these spaces. Like, I'm a block away from this park and, like, you can see the kids, like, like, old men playing dominoes.
I love
They're
that.
there. The,
I love that
like,
about New
the
York, yeah.
young women, like, it's like it maybe hit 60 degrees and, like, bikinis are out, we are getting sun, we are reading books. It's like 3 o'clock on an afternoon on a Tuesday, like, right next to these, like, families picnicking, they like, groups of nannies with, like, all of the babies hanging out, like, it's really beautiful, and that park means different things to different people, and, like, I don't know, that's what this is all about is, like, how can communities come together, protect what they love, enjoy it in the way that they want to, and have, like, the freedom and the support to do that, like, mm, so good.
So good. That is so good. You know what? And I can totally see that. It is true that all you have to do is get on a train, which is so nice, right? Like, how annoying is it to get
I
in your
know,
car and drive somewhere?
how's the Carolinas?
Oh my God. The Carolinas are insanely hot. My kids are, my kids are actually at summer camp. They're at an
Mhm.
herbology summer camp.
Cool.
Yeah. So they are learning all about herbs and
Do you
like
get, like,
how to
daily tinctures?
yes, like I do from my daughter. She like used the blender yesterday. She made a little basket and she went into our yard and picked like rosemary and dill. And then she made me a little cup of like lemon balm tea. She's like, "You seem really stressed. Here you go." It's like
Oh my gosh.
I know. I have to say, like, so the Carolinas are beautiful. Do we have
Mhm.
restaurants like New York? Absolutely not. No, we do not. You have to travel every once in a while if you
Mhm.
want, like, at least I do. I need
Yeah, yeah.
that city feel. But like, I don't know, day to day, my neighborhood I think is really unique in that like we all live really close together. It's kind of what you're describing. My
Mm,
parents live in my neighborhood, my sister lives in my neighborhood, and it's also like a really liberal pocket where everyone is from the Midwest, New York or
yep, yep,
California.
yep.
So, it's definitely a bubble. It's great for kids. I mean, it's hot. It
Yeah.
is so hot. I swear, I, like, walk outside and it feels like you're in a swimming pool. When I first moved
Mhm.
here, it would take my breath away. I would walk outside and I literally was like, like, I
Like,
can't
is this
breathe.
what drowning feels like?
Yes,
What's happening?
literally, 'cause
Yep.
but New York is just as bad. I mean, I
Yeah.
think sometimes, especially in those subways, oh my gosh.
Uh-huh.
Are you guys gonna
Yep.
travel? Are you taking a trip anywhere?
Surprise,
Are
I'm
you
doing
driving?
a mini move. Yeah, we're headed to London we'll be in the UK and Paris for about 9 months coming up.
That's
Um,
amazing. For what?
yeah, my husband got into this really cool master's program. I know, like, talk about, like, wanting to work for your passions. Yeah, he's starting a program for historic and sustainable architecture, through NYU
That is
London.
so
I
cool.
know, but, like, the best I'm, like, being very selfish. I'm like, we get 9 months of a trip,
Yeah,
and I
right.
get to, like, have some in-person time with some of our teams. Like, the agency leadership in the UK is, like, wildly
Oh my
different
gosh, I'm
than
just
what it
thinking
looks
about
like
Lucky
here.
Generals. Are you gonna go hang out?
I'm like,
Yeah,
"Do I get a desk? Like, can I work there?" Like, what's
I
it
love
like?
them.
Yes,
Shout
yeah.
out to Lucky
Uh,
Generals for
Shout out to
being
Lucky Generals, shout out to, like, Good Agency,
Yes.
like, it would just we have so many incredible, like, B Corps there that are, like, really leading the way, pushing the
I think
envelope.
about Solitaire Townsend. You guys see
Mhm.
yeah, oh my
Oh,
gosh.
yeah. I'm
Yeah,
like, "Can I work from that office?" I wanna just
yeah.
have, like, a rotating schedule where, like, Mondays I'm at Good, Tuesdays I'm at Lucky. It's like, take me.
I'm
Yeah, so
sure they will.
just everyone has open desks right now 'cause no one's working from
You'll
the
be like, "I'm
office 5
here to
days a
keep the
week.
lights on."
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
"I'll call if there's a building leak."
You need eyes on the ground, I am there. Yeah, so I'm really, really excited for some of that in-person time, and, like, nothing cuter than like, a December in London, am I right?
Oh my gosh, I know. Well, maybe I need to make a trip. Like, I'm
Yeah.
going anyways, and maybe I'll make 2 trips.
Oh, good, good, good.
Yeah, I think,
We'll be there
November.
and then Paris, from end of January to mid-April.
Okay. That's I take all my questions back about, like, working for your passions because clearly it's working out.
It and
No,
I
but it
think
is, and
honestly
that is
that's
the
a
point.
stigma. Like, that's
Yeah,
also
it
something we
is.
need to address is, like, I mean, this is an event I wanna host while I'm in Europe, honestly, is, like, I think so many young people have this, like, view that if I'm gonna move up higher in this industry, like, I need to get to one of those bigger companies as soon as possible for the name recognition. No, 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 no. These smaller agencies, you're going to touch so much more of this work. Corner Table is a pledge agency. They're doing this work in a really different way where they're like, there's not really silos. You like work across a project. So, like, you are there doing the ideation, you're doing the execution. So, like, you really get to see and be a part of this work at like a whole different way. And it's like allowing, I think, creatives to like really feel like ownership over like the work that they're doing and like the outcomes. It's not just like, let me throw and see what sticks and like, what the leadership is excited about. Um, but I think there's like more conversations need to be had around like like why work for indies, why working for agencies with like clear values and ethics and like the lines drawn on who they will and won't work with. What clients and projects are you going to be on? Like, can determine what the rest of your career looks like. If you could get stuck being like Shell's social media voice, like,
Oh,
oh,
yeah.
that's not the
Don't.
career I want for you. And like, yes, you can
No.
work for an NGO. Like,
Yeah,
WWF has a comms team. How
yeah.
cool.
So does
Like, are you
Sierra
passionate
Club.
about animals? Like, do that. Like, they need your talent too. And they're going to be like healthy places to work. Probably not Sierra Club right now for a whole host of different reasons. I was also
Yeah.
there for over a decade. But some of these other ones where you can, there might be a better investment in like good benefits. The work culture might be a better fit for you, but like where you can apply comms and marketing and PR skills like runs the gamut. And just I don't know, there's so much power and talent in this community. I'm like really lucky to be spending any time talking with people about it.
Thank you again for tuning into this podcast. I want to take a quick moment to thank Carrie of CMCK Media. He has an amazing podcast studio and incredible editing capabilities, and there's no way that I ever could have produced this podcast at this quality and caliber without him. So go give his website a visit and find him on LinkedIn. He has some pretty good stories to share too. That's how I feel every time I get on a call. And I think another thing too, like the older I get, I'm sure you realize this as well, just how much freedom there is to just be happy when you go to work and living within your means and like not buying into the consumerism of I need this certain paycheck. Like, I was just thinking about that today.
Hmm.
Like you could pick up and move if you are tied more to what makes you happy and, like,
Yeah.
gets you up in the morning than if you're like, "I need to go to this job to make this paycheck," because, like you said, you're just a cog in the machine.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
Well, and it doesn't feel like it's a I have to move for my job where it's like, "Oh, I get to go do this
Yes.
cool thing and go on this new
Yeah.
adventure."
I do
Yeah.
think that is something more conversations too, just it's a broader conversation of like, you know what? We can all just decide to do things that we value.
Mhm.
Like we don't actually have to show up
Yeah,
at work and punch a clock. Like we just don't. Like
totally.
maybe that means that you're not shopping as much or maybe that means that you live in a smaller house, but like wouldn't you just rather have that freedom? I don't know.
I feel like being happy is, like, the goal, right? So,
I think
like,
so.
and, like, also how we define that is also up to us. Yeah,
It
and,
is.
like, what you
That
said
is
around,
our
like,
freedom.
we
Yeah.
get that, and that decision of, like, whether or not you're gonna work for like, who you're gonna work for, who you're gonna spend and put your time towards is, like, it's a choice, and so even if
Yes.
you are at an agency that's working for fossil fuel clients, you don't have to. Chances are there's a lot of different clients, and, like, you even having that conversation is helping us move this and grow this movement. I love talking with some of our teams of, like, if we just keep it in, the the work line of things where it's like, "Oh, this creative brought it up, this creative brought it up," like, we're kind of just staying in one part of the organization. As soon as we make it an issue of talent acquisition, of
Exactly.
HR,
Yep.
like, that is rising up to some, like, C-suite conversations much faster than
It
an
is.
unhappy creative, you know?
Yeah, I agree, and I think especially when people are starting to see, talent drain and people that are just like, "I don't wanna work for your company, like, I would rather work for someone else,"
Yeah.
or yeah, I
Oh,
think
like,
that is
WPP is, like, in f shambles right now.
Oh, I
Like,
know. Yeah, exactly.
the,
And
like,
and it's gonna be a trickle
Milkgate,
effect.
yeah, the return to work, like, the
Yep.
required return to work. Milkgate in the New York City offices was hilarious, like, people working from ping pong tables. Yeah, the amount of work they're losing to other agencies right now, I'm like, this is not just, like, this is a culture issue. This is a holding company issue. Like, people want to be happy and cared for at work and, like, be seen as an individual. And, like, I think this is also a growing thing that we're seeing right now of just, like, labor's coming back, like hot labor summer, this, like, great reset, like, labor relations, like, worker activism, workers being like, I have to come to this like, after COVID, I think we're all like, we have to go to work and, like, spend our time here. Like,
Ew.
I learned what joy is, and
Yes.
I like
Yeah.
I
I
like
learned what
w
it's
the
like to have a morning that isn't insane trying to get out the
Yes.
door. Like, I spend more time
Yes.
with my kid, and
Yes. And, like, you
yeah.
can still do your job, and, like, often the hours spent doing your job are better because you're, like, showing up as a whole your whole self
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
like, with your cup
Yeah.
filled. And, like, we're seeing that, I think, right now, like, this rise in strike activity, increased worker activism, like, people asking these questions during their interviews of, like, "What
Yeah.
is the culture here? Am I expected to show up?" And, like, "No, I'm not gonna apply to your job. You want me to
No.
come into office 5 days a week? What?"
Yeah. You want me to work on oil? No, thank you.
Yeah,
You want me to do
yeah.
defense? Absolutely not. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's the thing people are starting to like, we're all kind of waking up. It's like our greatest, like, what we should be pursuing is our own agency. Like, as in our
Mhm.
own personal, like, decision making and eventually, like, there's more of us than
Yes.
CEOs of holding companies
Yeah.
or other things like that. So I love that you guys, like I know that the coolest part about what you do is, like, every day is the amount of young people that you get to talk to. I
Mm.
say that like we're elderly. But I do think, like, how do you manage to stay so positive and, like, not cynical while you're doing this work? I mean, it feels like just with everything else, it's like 2 steps forward and 1
Mhm.
step back. Like, how do you even keep your cup full? You mentioned tap dancing. It sounds like you and your husband have a really good time together, just, like, living life. But yeah, like, what do you do on those days when I mean, I had one of those days 2 days ago where I was like, "What are we doing here?" Like,
Yeah,
Gaza's a
yeah.
mess, and I am sitting at the pool with my kids. This feels like so it's a weird
It's like
reality, right?
another hottest day on the record, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot around, like, trust and generosity and, like, people at their heart, like, aren't bad, but, like, they maybe haven't gotten a chance to connect with their values or connect their values to their action in like the way that I've been really lucky to be able to practice for a long time. And so like I think a lot of this comes down to deep listening, political education, um, and you have to believe that transformation is possible. Yeah, I mean, it's hard, and we're all like this. I like have to remind myself too that this change has happened, right? It wasn't a long time ago that things were a lot worse than they were.
Yeah.
Now it's like what, like
Yeah.
160 years since like slavery was abolished, like 60
That's
years
true.
that Black people had the right to vote, like only 50 years since like Roe v. Wade, may she rest in peace, so like originally happened,
Yeah.
like less than 10 years since like the right to marriage, like
True.
progress
Yeah.
has been made, and there's always the slipbacks, and I think we're also beginning to do organizing work and community building work in like a more transformational way that's like seeing people as full humans and like having these conversations around values and like the solidarity work like you mentioned Gaza. Like I am having conversations with folks around like where they're really thinking about where they're working. Are, you know, can I show up and have these conversations and I have space to have feelings and
Yeah.
move through them and respond to the things in the world that we're seeing right now. That's all. I'm feeling hope in people asking these questions and showing up and having feels and having space for feels. Um, and then on a personal level, I think just like giving myself space and trust and
Yeah.
graciousness to move through my feelings and know that like joy is also part, it's why we do this work.
Yeah.
And that I need space to have that and feel that too. So yeah, I take tap dancing lessons with a Brazilian drag queen on Monday nights with my husband. And it's really, and I'm not
I
good
love the
and
idea
it's
of you
really
tap
fun.
dancing because I just
Uh,
picture, like, when I think of tap dancing, I think of, like, that cute little, like, six-year-old kid, like,
oh yeah, I
tap
was her. I
dancing.
had a
Yeah.
bumblebee costume. Yes.
You had a bumblebee costume. Okay, yes, and you're like, "I'm going back to." That's the thing too, I just had a conversation with my friend Whitney. I think so many of us are like, "You know what? I loved my bumblebee costume."
Yeah. They're selling, like, glitter freckles right now, right? It's
I
like,
know, they're so cute.
bring me back to sparkles, bring me back to fake tattoos, like, I need that, and, like, I need to be in community with the people I love because then I wanna fight harder for them, and I,
It's
like
what it is. That's it right there. Oh my gosh, yes, that is exactly why we need to be in community.
yeah,
Because, yeah, you're gonna fight for the people you love, right? And
and
we
I,
do
like,
need more
need
glitter
to be
sparkles.
happy so I can feel love, so I can, like,
Yes.
do all of those things, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and that right there is the work. I mean,
Mhm.
that is the work if that is the only thing that you do.
Yeah.
I mean, that is in and of itself a protest.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, my tap dance teacher showing up every day and teaching us this, like, joy is the work too.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
So, like, what are you
Mhm.
learning right now? Are you revisiting your Bumblebee days? Are you, like,
Oh my
better
god,
than
I'll
you were?
never hopefully I'm better than my six-year-old self. Gosh, it's really humbling. I am not good, and he started trying to have us do, like, improv last week.
Oh
Where he
gosh,
was like,
okay.
"Okay, here's a song. We know how to count. You have these basic steps. We're gonna go around. Everyone has a 2, sets of 8 that you have to, like, do this performance on," and, like, I was just mortified. Like, my husband watched me and just, like, laughed of, like, "I just
That
saw you
feels
dying
very not
inside."
relaxing.
But, like, you are to be counting, to be thinking about your body, to, like, be hearing the tap dance, it's, like, the most meditative, like, physical thing. Like, I can't be thinking about anything else. It, like, allows my brain, like, a full reset, and, like, it's also just, like, the room of the most random people. We have, like, the retired moms that, like, wanna get back and, like, live their Broadway dreams. We
I
have,
love that.
like, the queers that have just been, like, dancing and having joy forever and are, like, here
Right, I mean,
because
they're,
our
like,
tap dance
leading the
teacher is just
way.
the best. We have just, like, like, young women that are like me and we're like, "Oh, yeah, I used to tap dance, and I, pulled out this old video and was like, 'Why not put my shoes back on?'" Like, it's so much fun. I mean, we just watched, Sound of Music, and we're like this is sick. How do we do this? Can we learn this? Like, the answer is no. It's going to take like 40 years, but
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I'm committed.
yeah. You have time. I mean, you have time. And then, like, that will be your TikTok launch, right? You're like the
Right?
80-year-old grandma who's like, who figured
It
it out.
couldn't get cuter. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you couldn't get cuter. No. Can I tell you? And then we'll wrap it up. But like, so yeah, in that spirit, my daughter, she hates me for this right now, but she will thank me later because I
Yes.
can see deep down she's kind of excited about it. So I signed her up for cheerleading. Okay. I know. I know. I hear it.
It's
I
the
hear
most
myself saying
Southern
it.
thing I've ever heard you say.
I know. I mean, sometimes it does get in your brain, but here's why. Because she's going to middle school, and I want her to be comfortable being really loud. And
Mm.
that's why. I want her to be on a team with other girls where they are just being loud and yelling and projecting and, like, throwing their arms around and, like, having their pom-poms. Like, whatever.
Yes.
Cheering for the football team, that's fine. Half of them are our friends anyways. It's my friends' kids. I'd be cheering for them
Yeah.
regardless.
Yeah.
But, like, I just wanted her to just be loud and be big. But I also decided that I should be the assistant coach.
Was there an opening?
There was. Shocking.
Self-nominated.
Um, haven't cheered. Not a cheerleader. I played lacrosse.
Honestly, I'm really bad at math. I was an excellent 6th grade math teacher. Like, not
You
knowing
know
it,
what,
I
though?
think you're better at teaching it.
I think I'm killing it. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie.
Oh, I'm sure
Like,
you are.
yeah. Well, I am loud and I'm bossy. And I no, it's been so fun. I love coaching.
Mhm.
And I think deep down, like, I kind of always wanted to be a cheerleader too. So now I'm like on the sidelines like a dork, like a dance mom, like
I'm
doing
really excited about this for you.
these 6th grade rec cheer.
Amazing. Yeah, and, like,
No.
the practicing teaching people how to do things is also, I think, like, yeah, you will get better, and it's, like, also so much helpful. It's more coming to it from a place of not knowing, you, like, have to unpack a little bit of, like, "Ooh, how do we do that thing?" Or, like, "That is challenging, like, let's think about that." I am sure your kids and their friends love you. I
Oh,
can't
I don't
imagine how
know.
much fun that is.
It's 11 to 14-year-olds. I will let you know how it goes because I don't know that they love me. I don't know that they
You
love
have
me.
forced time with your kid, that's really important.
That's what it is. I know. We're like, "It will be fine."
Yeah.
Yes. Or, I'm trying to get some 13-year-olds to not laugh at me. I don't know how that's gonna
Oh
go
my god,
either,
let them
but
laugh at you. Like,
yeah, exactly. I
they
mean, they
hate
are for sure.
gosh, yeah, like,
Yeah,
those years are so hard. It's like they
because
hate
you taught 6th
themselves, they
grade.
hate you, they hate everything, their bodies are changing, school's changing, it's awful.
It is awful. It's awful, and that's why
Yeah.
I wanted her to, like, have a space where it was like, "Your body's not your enemy."
Mhm.
So, we'll see how it goes.
Oh my gosh, best
So,
of
you're
luck.
learning to tap, I'm learning to cheer,
Yay.
and we're still doing really good work.
Make
I
lots of noise with our bodies, with our shoes, with our
make so
voices,
much
with our
noise.
pom-poms.
Exactly. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
just out here making noise, being big.
Mhm.
Like, I want her to say it with her chest, like
Mm.
so, anyways, I'm so glad that you came on.
Yeah,
I
thanks so much
love
for
this
having me.
conversation.
I
Oh my
love
this
this
is great.
concept. Salon. Chats, easy, good.
I know. I just love catching up and hearing what you're doing.
Mm.
Before we wrap up, is there anything else, like, on your heart or on your mind that you wanna share?
I just, like, appreciated the, like yeah, the joy in being loud thing. I think it's, like, we all just need to tap in and find more spaces for that.
We need to be louder.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, so go make some
Mm.
noise on that dance floor. I wanna see a video.
And in your agencies.
Well,
Or
yeah,
make
for
some
sure.
quiet
That's the
noise.
bigger takeaway. Yeah, go make some noise in your agencies. But Laura, you specifically,
Mhm.
like,
Loud at
yeah,
tap. I know I have to find a new tap dance teacher while I'm in the UK.
I'm
Shout
sure
out to
you'll
your subscribers
yeah, my
looking for looking for a new tap dance.
yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah, you're gonna have to
Yeah.
work yeah, oh, you don't wanna
Mhm.
lose all what you regained.
I'm sure it will come back. It's fine. But yeah, I it's like a healthy weekly activity. Yeah.
I love that. I love that you're doing that. That is my favorite thing is finding out what people are now doing with their time, and it's always never anything I expected. All right. Well, thank you so much, Laura.
Thank
Like,
you.
I will make sure that we link the Clean Creatives project, the
Yes, please.
LinkedIn project, and then, yeah, have fun in London. I'm gonna have
Thanks.
to
I
come see
will.
you.
Yeah,
Awesome.
please. If you're in town, 100%
Oh, I
visit.
will reach out for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.